Okay, hello friends. Today we are giving a live about the novel of the almanack of Naval Ravikant by Jorjenson. So Mr. Jorjenson says that the Mr. like ultimately it's a combination of what Mr. Naval Ravikant said, what Naval said and did about his life, and what Mr. Eric Jorjenson want to quote and how we quote it. So he want to say that like whatever we do in our life, 99% of things go waste. Some people say that 80, but there is a rule of 80-20%, but he says 99% of what is wasted. Ultimately, 99 is more of a number and more of a parameter rather than saying like that. But like whatever you say, like everything goes waste, not exactly goes waste, but ultimately it gets deep in your psyche. But if you talk about goal, what was your goal in life, like when you graduate from school or college? So ultimately, what remains, what is the residual that goes with you? Like otherwise, like most of the exams, most of the results, most of the moments gone like deep in the subconscious. But what stays with you is the degree, is like the object, is like what you're going to do next, and what helps you on the job, on the go. Those are mostly like on the go things. Never you can plan hundreds of thousands of things and you'll do this and that on the job. You'll be going like this many people, but ultimately what happens, what matters most is like the people that you go on job with. Like the kind of how you deal with different kind of people, different kind of personalities. Also like how you deal with difficult type of personality that defines your life. So that helps like when you take an exam when you are not prepared. So this is the kind of people that you'll meet in your life when you're not prepared. For them who are not prepared, who are kind of corner cases, or who are kind of the cases, you'll have to, for whom you'll have to change your algorithm or the way of dealing with the people, or change of the, have to change something deep inside yourself. So it is always better that you keep traveling and keep meeting new people, and always never have a fixed way to talk to people, never have a fixed way to deal with the situation. It is always many times better to have your own perception of the situation, and be creating like pre conditions in your mind, or never be creating something like perception of the situation in your mind before going to somewhere, before doing something. He says that embrace accountability. To being rich and rich wealthy, like having money, make money is one thing, but to being rich and to be wealthy is to reach the rise about the social ladder, and that means about using the leverage of the people that work under you. If everyone in the society is taking the leverage of one people, you have to take the two. If everyone taking the leverage of 10 people, you have to take 12, 20, 50, maybe 100 people. So that's how you rise above the leverage. You take any industry and domain, like you work in politics, you work in real estate, you work in software, whatever you do. So you work in music industry or whatever. You keep rising the ladder, keep improving the quality of the work, keep taking more decisions, keep taking important decisions. Also, the author says that when you will be using other people's money, you will fail. You will fail numerous amount of times. But what matters is like you don't take these things very seriously. Like we are hardwired not to fail, but failing is really important. Let me pick up a pen. Sorry guys, sorry for the break. Like yeah. So the Mr. Author says that it is very important to get leverage, and then he is giving examples by example, like you failed many times, everyone fails, like, but it is important to keep respect to the money who pay you when you were in need. Maybe you could pay them or not in the terms that you received the money from them, but ultimately you have the respect from them, and you give them a promise that whenever you'll have money in your life, you may or may not have, but you will return to them. Okay, so here the author is also making a point that I'll just quote word by word, realizing that in modern society, the downside risk is not that large. Even personal bankruptcy can wipe the debts clean in good ecosystems. I am most familiar with Silicon Valley, but generally, people will forgive failures as long as you were honest and made a high integrity effort. Just a minute. Sorry for the break, guys. There was some debt that I had to clean out. So here, what is important is owning the equity in business. So you may take the stocks or shares of the company. You may give money to someone. You can have some kind of equity, sweat equity, money equity, like labor equity, whatever you want. In different stages of a company, you can invest in different ways. And it is never it is never directly proportionate that the risk will be equal to reward, or the risk will be proportional to reward. Sometimes if you found the low risk investable items, then you can make huge amount of money because your confidence will rise of success. And it is the author saying that it is also very important that sometimes when you're working on a business, so business is kind of an organic entity. It keeps growing. There is no business in the world that doesn't keep growing. If you put your effort, and even if you put the minimal amount of effort, business keeps growing because your experience will keep growing, your skills will keep growing. Organically means by itself, by automatically, or maybe you will putting your effort for it. So I'll just keep writing down so that I can just copy later on. So he says that you need to take some kind of risk in order to grow. The risk may give you reward, but you may have the downside of it also. In the modern society, risk taking is appreciated since the downside is not very huge. Then the author gives example. You can always or you can also come out clean if you get bankrupt if you are honest enough. So why I'm writing so I can just share the notes at the end of the video, at the end of live. So guys, I just realized that sugar is making problem to me. So I have to remove. I have to keep improving my lifestyle. I have to improve healthy, like taking healthy stuff. We live in an age of infinite leverage, and the economic rewards for genuine intellectual curiosity have never been higher. Following your genuine intellectual curiosity is a better foundation for a career than following whatever is making money right now. I only really want to do things for their own sake. That is one definition. Whether it's business, exercise, romance, friendship, or whatever, I think the meaning of life is to do things for their own sake. Ironically, when you do things for their own sake, you create your best work. Even if you are just trying to make money, you will actually be the most successful. The year I generated most wealth for myself was actually the year I worked the least hard and cared the least about the future. I was mostly doing things for the sheer fun of it. I was basically telling people I'm retired, I'm not working. Then I had the time for whatever my was my highest value project in front of me by doing things for their own sake. I did them at their best, like by doing the least amount of effort. So I just want to quote that you may or may not remember everything from here, but it is important that you learn. Thank you so much. I'll just skip the video here. Thank you so much.